What's good, everybody? This is Mr. Composition MC that writes fiction, and this is day 4 of Vlogtober. Man, I am. It's so easy to try to tackle everything all at once. You know, you I have to sit with myself and kind of gauge the amount of work versus what I feel I can do and what's actually like a good little middle ground, because I have a lot of energy as far as creative energy, and I definitely, especially during this time, just in my age in life, 27, I'll be 28, and I try not to look at what other people are doing, or I try not to compare myself to what other people are doing. Sometimes, like, I get super inspired, I get very pumped up, sometimes I have to remember that the people that I look up to, some of them are like 10 years older than me, 5 years older than me, and like that amount of time, that's a lengthy amount of time to be able to push ground. Like some of those people was probably at my age, just at the pushing through, and they only recently in their career probably got the allocates or got to where it is that they're making what some people would consider successful moves, like just financial success or anything like that. And I try to equate my progression to that of just a human. Like when I mean human, I mean like a baby. Like from the time you really started to push your passion to further pushing along. To me, it's like if you're a year or two into it, it's like, yeah, like you're just a baby, like in the process of you doing what it is that you're doing. And as you develop, like the first year, some children aren't even fully walking, things like that. So it's just like having the I guess having the long range view that the things that I'm doing now, it's just gonna take time. And I know that deep down. I know that I wasn't always like that. I mean, I have I have songs where I was like 18, 19, 20, where I was all like, yo son, I'm gonna be retired, by this time, basically, from music, and just like super successful. Um, and who knows? Like if I pushed it like that, then maybe. But I think that it is very easy to fall victim to what you should be doing versus what's actually good for you. Like it's because that's where burnout comes from. You have some people who, you know, there's a particular system that's out there, and it's called Human Design Chart. If you, I'll leave a link in it, and basically what it is it describes as far as the 4 different auras. And when I did mine, I think what it is like a combination between astrology and numerology to make like this new system. But it's, to me, it's pretty accurate. And I'm a what is called a projector, and a projector is a non-energy type. There's 4 altogether. There is the generators, the manifestors, which those are both energy types. And if you think about like an actual generator, and a manifestor, or just if you look at those, like, yeah, those are energetic, things. Now, the projector and reflectors, those are what are considered non-energy types. With a projector specifically, it's very like piercing, energy. Like it's very reserved. So the type of energy when it is being, emitted is pretty intense as far as when it's directed to a particular subject. And with projectors, it's waiting for the invitation is the kind of like slogan for it. And so it doesn't mean like I'm just supposed to be a sitting duck and just like wait for someone to come up, but it's cultivating and having my personal experiences and then being able to when the time comes to be able to ask my advice or ask to speak to motivate or things like that. And there was one article that I had read, and it was talking about, how to live life as a projector and like the kind of secret thing, because with generators, they make up a majority of the population. They generate, they're the energy type that get, things going. Manifestors have another big portion, and projectors have about 20%. Reflectors are pretty rare. And it was interesting because a reflector was the one who actually told me about this human design, so I thought that was pretty interesting. And with this article, it was basically talking about how this guy, he was doing a bunch of research for years as far as for human design. He was a projector, and he came across this guy. I think he might have been a motivational speaker or something like that, and like in his 40 or 50s he had like dropped dead from like a heart attack or something like that. And when what he found out was that guy that dropped dead was a projector, but the guy who wrote the article thought that he might have been like a generator or something like that, or an energy type, because of how he was moving and things like that. And I found that interesting because burnout is like a real thing, and whether you believe in human design or anything like that, being able to know your body and just how you are with things, you have to be able to like know what your default energy is, what things take away your energy, and are you overworking yourself. Like a car that overheats, it shuts down. Computers that are working, way too hard, fans are working overtime. Like, I don't know if you can hear in the camera, that's my fan for my laptop. So with that, I have, like, I'm learning this, just as I go. And so I'm just all like, I want to put out as much creations as I can, but I also need to, and it's going to take time, but I need to know as far as like where my particular energy is, as far as like to be able to give and make sure that I'm not on the way to burnout. Because like I said, I had, if you've watched any of my other videos, I may have not talked about it within none of these Vlogtobers, but I talk about it Tuesday videos. I always bring up the scenario of when I was in high school and I was in track. And when I first started running track, I was just doing the 100 and 200. But I think my sophomore or junior year, I think it was my junior year, I had started running the 400. That was my first time doing the 400. And if you don't know what the 400-yard dash is, mainly it's one time around the whole track. And so on the very first meet, because I never ran it before, I'm looking at it like, oh, just one time, around the thing, I got that. And so, my coach purposely let me do that, so that way I was able to learn that you have to pace yourself. He didn't tell me like, and I heard from people, they're like, yeah, you don't run the 400 the same way you would run the 100 or 200. And I'm like, yeah, but like looking at it, gauging it, I'm just all like, nah, I should be able to do this. And when you're at a track meet, you're pumped and you want to win, things like that. So, we're there, on your mark, you set, go, boom. I come flying from the jump, and I'm ahead of everybody, and people cheer me like, yeah, go, go, go. And I'm like, yeah, I'm first, I do the 100, 200, but right after that curve on the 200, I was still, running full speed, but then my legs started to slow down, and I'm just like, what's going on? To the point where by the time I got to the finish line, I was walking. I came in dead last. And coach was like, you won't do that again, right? And I always use that metaphor just for different things within my life. Like, I have to find where my pace is, so that way I don't burn out, because it's easy to just come out the gate, but the burnout is real. I've done that a lot throughout my life. Like, I would just be like, all right, boom, go to school, right out of high school, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna work full time, I'm gonna go to school full time, I'm gonna be a musician full time. And even though I was young and I was able to juggle that, like, a lot of stuff started to, my health started getting bad. Like, I weighed over 250 pounds before I stopped eating meat and went the vegan vegetarian route, lost 100 pounds. And I just seen the other aspect of that, even at a young age, and I'm just all like, okay, well, that's what I mean by don't look at what other people are doing, because like everyone is literally different. You have a different energy type than someone else, and if you're trying to keep up with the pace of someone who can keep up that pace, and you're not less because you cannot keep up to a particular pace of someone else, like, because that's not how things work. We all heard the story of the tortoise and the hare, like slow and steady wins the race, but it's not, becoming super slow. And that's the thing, like, I am into like a lot of things, but I definitely am still trying to find my kind of rhythm when it comes to doing things, that way I don't get burnt out. So hopefully, that was able to, reach somebody. Hopefully you're feeling that. So again, Vlogtober, day 4. If you like this, go ahead, and if you like these types of talks, then hit the like button, hit the subscribe. I'm going to be doing this every day for the month of October. And yeah, hope y'all are doing good. We got this Venus retrograde started tomorrow, so who knows? I'll talk more about that tomorrow probably. But yeah, my name is Mr. Composition MC that writes fiction. Dabtro Creations here. Peace.